This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 548, Starting a Business is Hard, by Don Starks of SimpleMoneyPro.com. And I'm Dan, I'm your host here, and welcome back to Optimal Startup Daily, or welcome for the very first time if you are new here, just discovering us. This is where I read to you from some of the best blogs on entrepreneurship, and I do that every single day, including weekends and holidays. And today's post comes from Don Starks of Simple Money Pro, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Don and the site after the post. But right now, let's get to it and start optimizing your life. Starting a Business is Hard, by Don Starks of SimpleMoneyPro.com. For most people, starting a business is thrilling, fulfilling, and exciting. You have a vision and you have enthusiasm to spare. Plus, who doesn't want to be able to call your own shots and work whatever hours you want? Who doesn't want to tell their boss to take this job and shove it, and then ride off into the sunset of happy self-employment? The reality of starting a business, however, is it's a huge challenge and undertaking and will likely take far more hours to get going than you ever imagined. 19 years ago today, I started my business. And yes, I have beaten the odds, since only a third of new businesses make it past 10 years. But I would be lying if I said getting to this point has been a breeze. In truth, it's been hard. Super rewarding, but really hard. We persisted. My company creates financial plans and manages investments for clients. A quick Google search of my name and financial planner will bring my company right up if you're curious. I started the firm in 1999, the absolute peak of the bull market that lasted through most of the 80s and 90s. The first year was difficult, in large part because there's so much to learn when you're a new business owner. The next 3 years were incredibly difficult due to the recession and down market. Nevertheless, we persisted. Owning your own business may mean you don't have to put up with a nonsensical boss, but it also means as a business owner, you are required to make the decisions. I had an initial vision from my firm that steered many of my decisions. In the financial planning industry, it would have been more typical to start a solo practice, solo. Once my clientele built up, I could add support staff. Instead, I envisioned a team approach to provide the very best client service experience possible straight out of the gate. Having employees, of course, adds extra layers of stress and expense to a new business. For several years, I essentially had no paycheck. The business also racked up an impressive amount of debt in its first 5 years, to the tune of $250,000. As a rule, I'm very debt averse. However, I also know that debt can be a positive tool in the right circumstances. I desperately wanted to prove that the team approach was the right one, and so I borrowed to pay my staff. Meanwhile, I taught college classes on the side to help support my family, since my business wasn't providing an income. The 5-year plan. My goal was this: I would spend and borrow to spend for 5 years to do extensive marketing and to keep my team in place. I dubbed this my 5-year plan. At the end of the 5 years, while we were still deeply in debt, the company was making money, supporting itself, and growing healthily. At that point, I made out a new 5-year plan. My plan this time was to get out of business debt in 5 years. My take-home pay was still well below industry standards, but I was hell-bent to pay off the debt. We accomplished that plan in 6 years, not 5. But in my defense, year 5, I became a new mom, and the bottom dropped out of the market, again. In other words, I'm proud of that 6-year payoff, and we haven't seen business debt since. Today, the idea of a team approach has now become the norm in the financial services industry, 19 years after I was determined to make a team model work. Gratefully, all is going well for us. Know thyself. In the early days of my business, many people asked me, "How are you doing what you're doing?" My honest answer was always that I was comfortable spending money on my business and going into debt because I was confident I could make the business work the way I wanted it to work. It's critical to have that level of confidence in your business, but you should also be pretty darn certain you can pull it off. Not all industries and businesses are created equally when it comes to potential revenue generation, and not all entrepreneurs are created equally when it comes to having the fortitude to withstand enormous business pressures. You must know thyself. Take a very close look at your plan, your risks, and your possibilities before rashly committing yourself to significant debt. I'm not suggesting entrepreneurs should borrow money like they're banking on the wild, wild west. I'm also not suggesting you steer clear of borrowing money. As with any business decision, you must weigh the pros and cons and move forward realistically with open eyes. Even though taking on enormous debt worked for me, I'm not sure I would be a proponent of others considering a similar approach. It really depends on the individual and your ability to handle stress. The stress I endured was significant and has likely had a lasting impact on my health. Knowing your own limitations is key when you consider starting a business, or any venture for that matter. You just listened to the post titled "Starting a Business is Hard" by Dawn Starks of SimpleMoneyPro.com. Marketing teams want to be part of a brand's growth, and one channel you might be afraid or hesitant to try is influencer marketing. That's where #paid comes in. They only use creators, real quality content creators, and they make it easy for you to test influencer marketing. You can pick your audience and objectives, pick from a short list of creators, and watch those creators make you look like a genius. You'll never have to spend hours searching for influencers or haggle with them about compensation or legal, and you'll never be left in the dark on performance. A lot of successful marketers are trying creator marketing with #paid. Here's how it works. You tell them about your brand and campaign. They find creators who are genuine fans and who create high-performing content to share with consumers who are interested in buying. And that content is yours to reuse and repurpose. Get started with creator marketing and creator whitelisting for $499 a month, and Optimal Startup Daily listeners get $500 of free working spend on your first campaign. Learn more at #paid.com/OSD. That's HASHTAG paid.com/OSD. And a big thank you to Dawn. She has been a financial planner for more than 2 decades now, and her aim with her financial planning work has always been to simplify things for her clients. Making concepts easier to grasp and less scary is the goal. You can check out more of her posts at SimpleMoneyPro.com. And again, thanks so much to Dawn for letting us share her work. All right, that's going to do it for today. Hope you are having a great day and week, and that if you're listening in real time, you didn't fall victim to any April Fool's jokes today. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.